classic.
Yes.
The last time we saw Alanis Morissette, she was rocking at the Kia Forum for Fire Aid, and soon the award-winning singer will be headlining a residency in Las Vegas. Morissette will play at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace this fall. She's booked for 8 shows in October and November. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster.com.
I just hope there's no tariffs on that show because she's Canadian, you know?
I know. Canada's not for sale. That's what the, people were holding up signs at SNL saying that. All right, well, the South by Southwest Festival kicks off this weekend, and actress Kate Hudson opens up about her new Netflix series. Variety's senior TV features editor Emily Longeretta is here to talk about that and more. Welcome back.
Hi.
So let's start with the South by Southwest Festival. It kicks off this weekend.
Yes.
The big question, there's a big question for opening night.
Yes,
Like.
so opening night is Another Simple Favor, which is, of course, Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick's movie.
Will she be there? Will she be
will
there?
Blake be there? I mean, that is the big question. I'm hopping on a plane tomorrow morning. I'm heading
you
there
are?
to see. I will be there on the carpet, so hopefully we'll see. Is she going to come? I think a lot of people assume that she will appear. We don't know if she'll do red carpet interviews, if she'll talk to anyone, but this is the big premiere, and this is a really, really big movie that people have been, they're spending a lot of money, they're putting a lot behind this, so a lot of people are anxious to see what's going to happen here.
If you're the studio, do you want her to show up, or do you not want? You
press
do?
is press. I would say even if she doesn't do interviews and she just wants to, take some photos on the red carpet, do the Q&A after, or you could always do the thing where you say only questions about this movie. We'll see. Will I try to throw out a question? Absolutely.
Please do. Yes.
Maybe next week I'll be back with that story.
Oh, I would love that. Kate Hudson talking about her new Netflix series.
Yes. So Running Point just dropped on Netflix, which she plays kind of a fictionalized version of Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers. And she did a sit down with my colleague, and as well as Jeannie Buss. They all talked about this new series, and she said that when she was 14, she actually shadowed Jeannie when she was working at the Kings.
Really?
And she walked around and got so obsessed with it that Jeannie was like, you're going to be into this one day. We know you're going to love this one day. And so once, years later, Jeannie Buss ended up calling Mindy Kaling and saying, I think this is a series and I think you should write it. And Mindy created it, and Kate was the perfect person.
Really?
Cool.
Yeah.
A full circle moment.
Absolutely. It's really fun. A lot of powerful women, so definitely nice to see.
I did see the trailer for this just yesterday that I was like, what is this? And it looks really funny.
Very fun. Kate Hudson is absolutely incredible in it, and playing, this person who kind of gets thrown into a realm that her whole family, all the men in her family have worked in, and really kind of kills it. So
well, good.
It's awesome to see.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Love a success story. All right, Emily, thank you. You can find more information about Emily and Variety by going to kcalnews.com, clicking Seen on TV. Let's go over to Amy Johnson now to see what's coming up on the 10 at 10.
Good morning. Here are some of the stories that we're tracking for KCAL News at 10. First, it could be the key to bringing extinct creatures back to life. We're going to meet this so-called woolly mouse and what makes it so unique, and see how one young girl is working to ease loneliness on her school playground. We'll have those stories and so much more when we see you for the 10 at 10.
Paley Fest is back at the Dolby Theater March 21st through the 29th. Tickets are on sale now for the premier festival that celebrates the stars and creators of hit shows, including Severance, Cobra Kai, Agatha All Along, Matlock, The Handmaid's Tale, Hacks, Poker Face, and Gilmore Girls, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Etoile, the Amy Sherman-Palladino multiverse. Get an exclusive look at the biggest names in television. Don't miss Paley Fest March 21st through the 29th. Tickets sell fast, so visit paleyfest.org to buy now.
Welcome back to KCAL News Mornings at 9. There's a live look at LAX where you see a plane taking off in the background. Traffic's moving, but those rain clouds also moving in. 9:56.
This year, LeBron, open three, got it! 22 seasons, 40 years of age. LeBron James, 50,002 points.
It is really impressive. LeBron James has reached 50,000 point, that milestone for his career. It happened in the first quarter of last night's game against New Orleans. The 50,000 includes the regular season and the playoffs. More importantly, the Lakers won their 7th win in a row, which we love when they're on a little winning streak.
And we love LeBron.
We love LeBron.
I mean, what's not to love?
40 years old. I love when
know.
we can still achieve things.
It's the new 20. All right, a year ago, the New York Giants let Saquon Barkley walk, and he made the best of it, signing with the rival Philadelphia Eagles and helping lead the team to a Super Bowl win. Now Barkley is getting rewarded. ESPN is reporting that Barkley signed a 2-year, $41 million contract extension. Barkley set a single-season record for rushing yards over the regular season and playoffs. It's always nice when you get a sweet revenge story like that, too.
Isn't it? Yes, it is. How about the Dodgers?
Yeah, they played their first regular season game in less than 2 weeks in Tokyo.
That's going to be very fun. One of the pitchers expected to start in Japan is Dodgers rookie phenom Roki Shizaki. He had his first spring training start for the Blue Crew.
Noelvi Marte, the third baseman, to face him. And the first pitch, Sasaki throws in a Dodger uniform. Is a ground ball hit to Betts. He charges. Throws on the run. Good scoop by Freddie. One pitch and one away.
I love Mookie Betts, too.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
But against the Reds, Sasaki entered in the 5th and worked 3 scoreless innings, striking out 5. Sasaki helped the Dodgers to a 4-2 win at Camelback Ranch. I feel like it's going to be a fun season.
I like that we have all this good news in our sports
Yes,
stories.
exactly, right?
So fun. That's it for us. Thanks for watching KCAL News Mornings at 9.
Remember, we're always on at KCALnews.com and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. The 10 at 10 with Amy Johnson starts right now.
Now at 10, with more rain on the way, an evacuation warning is in effect near the Eaton fire burn zone as concerns about mudslides rise. Plus, reaction is still pouring in after President Trump's congressional address last night. We're going to have a recap for you. And it's all eyes on Jackie and Shadow as eagle watchers anxiously await the potential arrival of another hatchling.
This is KCAL News Mornings.
Hello and welcome to the 10 at 10. I'm Amy Johnson. Here are some of the other stories that we're tracking for you this Wednesday, March 5th. Certain types of hair care may be more toxic than you think. In story number 4, we're going to look at a specific study that targeted the hidden dangers in products Black women commonly use. Then in story number 7, as wildfire recovery continues, some surviving properties are encountering ongoing issues. Our Christine Lazar spoke to an industrial hygienist to see how he's helping homeowners. And then in story number 9, it's a fun, fresh, iconic SoCal location. In this week's Let's Go Places, we're headed to the original farmers market. First, let's check in with our meteorologist, Amber Lee. She's joining us now with your next weather forecast. Good morning, Amber.
Hi, good morning, Amy. Take a look at our next weather Skycam. Hollywood Hills, we're looking at the Mulholland Courts, and you can see it is a little bit glossy and doesn't look like anyone's taking advantage of the wet weather to play any of that tennis. But we're definitely looking at more rain coming down as we head into the next few hours. Here's a quick look at our live radar. So a lot of that rain hasn't quite made its way into Orange County or the Inland Empire just yet, but it is slowly moving in, and we're going to continue to see that rain as we head into the rest of the day. Here's a look at our current highs as we head toward the afternoon. We're definitely going to be a lot cooler today than yesterday because of the system, and this is just the first wave of energy. This is the first piece of the system. 61 will be the high for Van Nuys today. We'll have some low 60s for downtown LA, mid 50s for Claremont, low 60s for Santa Ana, and then we'll also have some mid 50s for the Camarillo area. Well, coming up in my next weather forecast, I'm thunderstorm tracking not only this first system, but the second one. The second one's going to be a little colder, a little bit more unstable. I'll tell you about the chance of these isolated thunderstorms headed our way. Amy, back to you.
All right, Amber, thank you. Let's get to our #1 story this morning. As the rain moves further into SoCal, an evacuation warning is issued for parts of Sierra Madre near the Eaton fire zone. KCAL News reporter Cara Fenstrom is live in Sierra Madre with a closer look at how they're rushing to prepare. Cara.
Amy, we've seen lots of heavy equipment moving through these streets headed up to those debris basins. We've also seen neighbors who put precautions into place right outside of their home, K-rails and also some of those sandbags. Here's what we heard about the storm during an LA County update this morning.
There's also a 10 to 20% chance of thunderstorms that could produce heavy downpours. With this level of rainfall, there is a potential for isolated mud flows, and some streets could be blocked by mud and debris.
Early this morning, Genesis posted evacuation warnings for numerous Sierra Madre areas beneath that Eaton fire burn scar. Part of the reason emergency leaders fear this event could trigger serious mud flows is because Sierra Madre still hasn't recovered from February storms. Take a look. This is time-lapse video of one of the debris basins that filled up and overflowed February 13th, causing mud to swamp certain areas. Public Works crews, they have been working to clear all the impacted basins ever since. But if we go to time-lapse video of that same basin from this morning, you can see debris remains in it, with crews getting some last-minute removal work in this morning. Local leaders urging folks who live in at-risk areas to keep checking their Genesis apps throughout the upcoming rains. They say the evacuation warnings in place now could be upgraded to orders, and they also stress that folks really cooperated during the last storm, and that helped. Now, back out here live, I want to give you a look at some of the trucks. You're hearing them as I'm speaking that have been heading up and down this street, going to debris basins and coming down with some of those loads. They're going to be doing this, Amy, right up until the time the rains begin to fall.
All right, Cara, thanks so much. Let's hope all that work is working. Let's get to some developing news now. The search for 2 armed suspects has come to an end in Rancho Park. Assignment manager Mark Liu is live at the desk with the details for us. Mark.
Yeah, Amy, this has been one we've been checking on all morning. LAPD said they've been searching for 2 armed suspects after they jumped out of a car that crashed into a tree, but now it appears that both of those suspects have escaped. Let me show you some video. Our breaking news crew was out here all morning. It's the intersection of Brookhaven and Veteran in the community of Rancho Park. That's a neighborhood just to the northeast of the 405 and the 10. Now, LAPD says their officers tried to pull over that blue car there at about 3:15 this morning. That car ended up crashing into a tree. Officers say they saw 2 men jump out of it and run. LAPD says at least one of those 2 men was armed with a gun, so officers immediately requested backup on the ground and in the air. They sent the air unit. A perimeter was set up, and the neighborhood was locked down. A K-9 unit was called in to search for both of those men. However, here at the desk, we just got an update in the last hour from LAPD headquarters. They say it appears both men have escaped that perimeter. So they're now breaking down that scene. They are working to put together a report that should hopefully include descriptions of who they were looking for and any other evidence they find in that car, But it seems like for now, Amy, this one is over with both of those suspects getting away. That's it from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you. Well, community members and faith leaders gathered outside the closed Original Pantry Cafe this morning for an Ash Wednesday service. That service included the blessing and distribution of ashes to support workers who were fighting to save the historic restaurant. The cafe, an LA icon, closed Sunday night after being in business more than 100 years. The closure is a result of a dispute between new owners and the union representing the employees. The owners decided to close the restaurant after the 2 sides could not reach a labor agreement.
And it's really sad, we're gathered out here with some of the workers who should have been working here today, along with different clergy leaders for an Ash Wednesday service, to pray over them and hope that the foundation or any new owner, right, that wants to get this restaurant will touch their hearts and keep the workers on as well. Even though the workers aren't working right now, we're still going to keep fighting to make sure that they get their jobs back.
Well, former LA Mayor Richard Riordan once owned the pantry. After he died in 2023, his trust took over and listed the diner for sale. It was back in August. And happening right now, the House Oversight Committee is holding a hearing in Washington, D.C. to discuss sanctuary cities. The mayors of New York, Boston, and Denver are all present. The committee says it wants to examine the policies of cities across the nation that are limiting cooperation with ICE agents. If they decide to enact changes, it could have an impact right here in L.A., which was designated a sanctuary city back in November. Well, more staffing cuts are coming to federal agencies. That's according to an internal memo. The Trump administration plans to cut more than 80,000 employees from Veterans Affairs. Previously, veterans had already been fighting the changes, which already includes a few thousand employees. More than a quarter of the VA staff are veterans. Story number 2 now, President Trump's defiant address to a joint session of Congress. The room was divided last night as Republicans cheered, Democrats jeered, and one member was thrown out. Representative Al Green was removed after standing up and shouting at the president. Then Mr. Trump dove into his agenda, discussing tariffs, illegal immigration, and reducing the federal government.
I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid.
Is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts?
It was the longest speech ever before a joint session of Congress, over 90 minutes. And an update now on the condition of Pope Francis. The 88-year-old has been in the hospital for nearly 3 weeks, recovering from pneumonia in both lungs. Now, despite today being Ash Wednesday, the Pope did not lead services. The Cardinal took his place instead. This year marks the second time the pontiff has missed the service in 12 years. 2 down, 1 to go. You're looking live at the Eagle's Nest in Big Bear as proud parents Shadow and Jackie take care of their newborns while waiting for a third egg to hatch. And take a look at this. This is video of Mom and Pop feeding their new babies. We're told eaglets need to eat up to 8 times a day. A biologist told KCAL Mornings they will need that nourishment over the next several weeks before facing the real world.
Jackie and Shadow will be feeding them, on a constant basis almost. And the two of them will, both work to get as much food as they can, and they will grow very quickly. It only takes 10 to 14 weeks before they go from this tiny little thing to over 3 feet tall.
And that's when they're expected to leave the nest. There are concerns about whether they'll survive this week's storm, so we're keeping a really close eye on that nest. Well, the 10 at 10 is just getting started. Could a new order by Governor Newsom put him at odds with state workers? Why they say a return to work mandate is out of touch. Plus, they're in the business of cleaning up. Our Christine Lazar explains the duties of an industrial hygienist and how they're helping wildfire survivors. Plus, hidden dangers in hair products, what a new study found, and how experts say you can shop smarter. Some breaking news just into our newsroom. LA County is suing SoCal Edison to recover cost and damages due to the widespread devastation of the Eaton fire. That lawsuit alleges that the utility company's equipment caused the deadly fire, which then triggered large costs for the county, not only for the immediate response, but also in the aftermath. The county says its case is essential to the ongoing restoration and rebuilding process. Well, a lot of state workers are grumbling at returning to the office full time after several months of working remotely. Governor Newsom offered the change, a move that California's largest state workers union calls out of touch and unnecessary. Some of the employees say they're worried about the added cost and impact on the environment.
Yesterday, I canceled my retirement contribution, anticipating, these changes.
I think I'm concerned with the increased carbon emissions, traffic.
Well, some political pundits say the governor's decision is a political one in the aftermath of President Trump ordering federal workers back to the office. Well, your 10 at 10 continues now with story number 4. A new study suggests some popular brands of braiding hair have cancer-causing agents in them. Laura Hafley breaks it all down for us.
For Miss Andrea Swain, a trip to Salon Monet is more than a place for a new style.
I've been getting my hair done since I was 5 years old. It's been one of the safe places for Black women to grow, to connect, and to really take care of ourselves.
But now Swain is grappling with a troubling reality. According to Consumer Reports, synthetic hair products, widely used especially among women of African descent, are linked to cancer. A study tested 10 popular brands. The results? Carcinogens were found in 100% of samples. Lead was present in 9 out of 10. Volatile organic compounds were detected in all products.
During conversations with Black women, when we asked them, what are you the most concerned about? Artificial braiding hair came to the top of the list.
James Rogers with Consumer Reports recommends users choose their products wisely.
We don't recommend stop using the products because we know they're important culturally. What we do say is be aware that there's a potential problem with these products.
Rogers says reduce time between braiding events, but it's easier said than done. Synthetic hair products is a $1 billion industry. Salon Monet owner Shelly Mendiz says these dangers could cast a wide net.
It's really hurtful to me, to my clients, to the Black industry.
Mendiz prides herself on using healthy hair products, hoping women prioritize companies and businesses that do the same.
Call the distributors out that are selling these products.
Consumer Reports urges users to report issues to the FDA. Laura Hafley, CBS News, Boston.
All right, let's check in with our meteorologist, Amber Lee, joining us now with your next weather forecast. Amber, I got a little rain when I was just getting here at 8 o'clock this morning, and it looks like more is around.
Yeah, we're actually looking at a lot more headed our way as we head into the next few hours. This is actually our Malibu camera. You can't really tell what you're looking at because we have the gray skies, and then we're also looking at a little bit more of the raindrops on the lens, and you can see it kind of going. So this is going to be just some really light, showery rain as we head into the next few hours. This is what we call that beneficial rain, which is great for the plants and also the grass. And our live radar shows that most of LA and Ventura County right now, especially the western half of LA County, under that wet weather. I'm going to zoom in and show you. So it hasn't quite made its way into Pasadena or the Sierra Madre area just yet, but it's slowly getting there and hasn't really worked its way into the South Bay. So areas like La Habra and then also Orange County and the Inland Empire, still pretty dry, still pretty gloomy, where if we do see any moisture, maybe just a few sprinkles here and there ahead of the system. But we're going to see more rain, more gusty winds, and all the mountain snow headed our way as we head into the latter part of the day, where it's tapping into that weaker atmospheric river. So this is going to come in two parts. The first one is arriving today. The second one is going to move in tomorrow. And the second system is going to be a little colder with a little bit more instability. So there is a chance for isolated thunderstorms, small hail. And then if we do see these thunderstorms, it's going to sit right over a region, and that could bring a lot of rain in a short amount of time, which could trigger flooding and debris flow for those recent burn scars. So this is something that we're going to continue to watch as we head into Thursday. But look at our highs today. Really, we're not looking at highs too much warmer than what we're feeling right now. So 50 degrees currently for Santa Clarita, 53 for Burbank, 56 for Moreno Valley, 58 for Santa Ana. Over the course of the next few hours, areas like Riverside, you're going to start to see more of that rain. It's a slow-moving system. So after the lunch hour, maybe around 1 to 2 p.m., and then you can see it sticks around through later tonight, and then we finally start to see it dry up overnight. So it's going to be that on again, off again type of deal as we head into tomorrow, because we're waiting for that second pulse of energy to push in. Downtown LA, you're going to continue to see on again, off again, light rain showers as we head into the rest of the afternoon. Probably a little bit more steady as we head into the late afternoon, early evening. And then over the mountains, our snow levels will start off a little higher, around 8,000 to 7,000 feet, and then it starts to drop as we head into Thursday and also into Friday morning. So right now we have a winter storm advisory, everything in purple for parts of LA and Ventura County. And then for San Bernardino and also Riverside County mountains, we do have a winter storm warning, warning you that it's going to start to dump all the snow as we head into the next 24 hours. So we could see anywhere from 12 to 16 inches of new snow above 7,500 feet. And then by Friday morning, we could see snow levels as low as 3,500 feet to 4,000 feet. So snow chances really go up once we head into the second half of the day. You can see that there for the Big Bear area. Futurecast, so as I mentioned, this is slow moving. So by the time we head into the afternoon, we start to feel a little bit more of that rain pushing into Orange County and the Inland Empire. The evening commute's going to be soggy. It will continue to stay wet through the night and then on again, off again as we head into tomorrow morning. We'll see a lot more of that activity as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Look at the 7-day forecast. So we are actually going to get even colder tomorrow as that second system drops in. Temperatures will get down into the mid to upper 50s for most areas. Dry out by the weekend, which is great for Saturday and Sunday. Then by Monday and Tuesday, this is where we start to see that rain chance pick up again. And then here's a look at the valleys. We're looking at 61 today, 58 tomorrow, and then some 70s for the weekend. Amy?
All right, thanks so much, Amber. Still ahead on the 10 at 10, answering FAQs about HPV. Next, doctors debunk some of the 5 biggest myths. And then see how one Midwest school is making sure kids of all abilities feel included on the playground. But first, Gabrielle Kerr is here to level up your home fitness routine in today's CBS Deals.
All right, well, it's not too late, Tony, to get sexy for the summer. We're going to work out those abs and also tone up your arms, your back, and your booty with the side shaper.
Okay.
This is going to help you not have to get on the ground to do the planks, to do the crunches. This is an inverse crunch. I'm just going to pull my knees up. I know you're impressed, right? But here's the key. 5 minutes a day is all it takes.
Yeah.
So when you're short on time, also, this folds down for storage. So you don't have to worry about this eating up that valuable real estate in your home.
Slide under a bed.
Whether you're a beginner, this also is a real challenge. If you're more advanced, it comes with resistance bands to really give you that burn.
And how much is this?
Well, this is the best price you'll find anywhere because we're bringing you the pro version. You're saving almost $200 off. So head to cbsdeals.com. You're going to save 54% off.
To get this deal and more, scan the QR code at the top of your screen or head to cbsdeals.com to start shopping now.
Welcome back. Getting a live look over the LA River as it comes through near our studio. Got some rain out there this morning and more is on the way. Of course, our meteorologist Amberly will give us full forecast in just a bit. Let's get to story number 5 now at 10:23. There are new concerns this morning about a growing measles outbreak across several states. The case count in West Texas is now up to 159. Now that includes 22 hospitalizations as well as a child who died last week. Doctors stress the measles, mumps, and rubella, or MMR vaccine, is the only way to prevent a potentially deadly measles infection. In an opinion piece on Fox News this week, Health and Human Services Secretary and longtime vaccine skeptic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said vaccines can protect people and communities, but he also said it's a personal choice. And he touted alternative treatments like vitamin A, which doctors say could help alleviate severe cases, but is by no means a cure. HPV is a common virus that can cause cancers later in life. Currently, the CDC says nearly everyone not vaccinated against it will get it at some point in their life. But as Mandy Gaither tells us, there are still a lot of misconceptions and myths that doctors are working to debunk.
In the U.S., more than 42 million people are infected with types of HPV that can cause disease. Most HPV infections will go away by themselves, but others can last longer and can cause some cancers.
80% of people who have ever had sexual intercourse will have been infected with HPV.
Electra Paskett with the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center says the first HPV misconception is that only women get the virus. In fact, every year in the U.S., HPV causes about 36,000 cases of up to 6 different cancers in both men and women, including cervical, penile, anal, and cancers in the back of the throat. Myth 2, HPV infections cause symptoms. Paskett says most people will not have signs of the virus unless it progresses to cancer. 3, there's a cure for HPV. While treatments are available, there's currently no cure for the virus itself. 4, the HPV vaccine is only for girls. It's actually a routine vaccination recommended for all children at age 11 or 12 or through age 26 if not adequately vaccinated when younger. Finally, the myth that the HPV vaccine isn't safe and effective. Paskett says research shows that's not true.
For many years, the American public has been wanting a cancer vaccine. We have a cancer vaccine. Let's get it.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, there's much more ahead on the 10 at 10.
The tariff uncertainty is leaving customers weary and CEOs saying prices are going up. I'm Rick Montanez live in Silver Lake. What Target CEO says could happen by the end of the week.
Plus, it's an LA staple. In story number 9, we are grabbing a plate of pancakes, some fresh produce, and maybe even a sticker sheet, all at the original farmers market that's coming up. And it's an idea born out of kindness. See how one young girl is helping ease loneliness on her school's playground.
Haley Fest is back at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood March 21st through the 29th. Tickets are on sale now to see stars and creators behind hit shows, including Matlock on CBS. Don't miss Haley Fest. Visit haleyfest.org to get tickets now.
is KCAL News Mornings.
Welcome back to the 10 at 10. I'm Amy Johnson. We've got some rain already spotted across SoCal and gloomy skies all around as another storm moves in. We also caught some video of some light rain falling in Silver Lake in the last hour. What you're looking at now is, of course, Santa Monica, the pier, and a look from our Mount Wilson camera in addition to Silver Lake. Let's check back in again with our meteorologist, Amber Lee, who has your next weather forecast. Amber.
Hi, Amy. So depending on where you live here in Southern California, you're either being hit with some rain or it's still dry and you're waiting for that rain to move in. This is exactly what's happening right now. Take a look at that next weather live radar. So LA and part of Ventura County all under some sort of moisture. And then as you head a little bit more to the southeast, you can see Orange County and the Inland Empire still under some really gray conditions, maybe a few sprinkles, but the bulk of the energy hasn't quite made its way into those areas just yet. You can see it here with our next weather sky cam. This is our Mount Wilson camera. We do have a lot of the clouds up above and then a few clouds kind of dotting just below a little bit. But overall, it is much cooler today. So you're going to need your rain gear because this is a slow moving system and still working its way down the coast. And temperatures at the moment are in the high 40s for Wrightwood, 56 for areas like Pasadena, 55 for Malibu, 62 for Chino, and then we have some low 60s for the Santa Ana area. Take a look at our hour-by-hour forecast for the rain chances. So we're definitely looking at much more rain headed our way. Not quite over just yet. How much rain are we expecting? And also, this is the first wave of energy, Amy, so I'll talk about the second one coming up in my next weather update. Back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Amber. Well, you could pay more the next time you shop because of President Trump's new tariffs. Prices are about to go up and fast. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez is live in Silver Lake with when those changes will start to hit store shelves. Rick.
Amy, good morning. We talked with shoppers who, of course, do not want to see any price increases. But Target CEO said in a recent interview that prices will go up or could go up by the end of this week. He says the corporation is trying to protect prices, but changes are on the way. Check it out here. They say that at this big box store, first what will increase will be fruits and vegetables. And Target CEO said to CNBC that, you know, they're trying to keep prices manageable, but this is just what is going to happen as they rely on produce imports from Mexico in these winter months. Best Buy is another major retailer saying price increases are, quote, highly likely. One shopper we met this morning says with limited grocery options here near him in Silver Lake, the increase from tariffs is concerning.
Target already isn't cheap to begin with. It's the closest grocery store to our home, just over there. If you make even one bad decision at the beginning of the month, you're going to be paying for it. That's how tight our budget has been. You know, for instance, I took my girlfriend to a sushi restaurant. Ever since, I've been like, oh man, like I got to watch what I'm spending here, spending there.
Yeah, so if something at the store goes up, that'll be hard for you.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's a pretty shared experience at this point.
So economists predict fresh fruits and vegetables will be first on the list to see these price increases across the board. This includes fresh berries, avocados, and tomatoes, the top three agricultural exports from Mexico to the U.S. On a local level, the co-owner of Red Maple, that's a restaurant in Toluca Lake, they say they've already seen prices go up for items like coffee. The restaurant has also tried to absorb the price increase of eggs recently, but they say they won't be able to keep up without passing on some of that cost to their customers.
We're doing everything in our power to try to keep the cost low.
So at last night's address to Congress, President Trump doubled down and said that what they tariff us, we will tariff them. So if you look at it on the large scale, big or small business, the changes are happening and a lot of people are expecting those prices to go up. Target CEO even says the tariff uncertainty, as he calls it, is really already showing signs of having an impact on the corporation's bottom line. Reporting live in Silver Lake, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
All right, Rick, thank you. Let's just get to some breaking news now. We're learning more about that lawsuit filed by LA County over the start of the Eaton fire. Assignment manager Mark Liu is at the desk with a copy of that suit. Mark.
Yeah, that's right. Here at the desk, we have received both a release from the LA County Council Office of Affirmative Litigation and Consumer Protection Division. They appear to be the ones who are going to be litigating this lawsuit against Edison. And we've also obtained a copy of the complaint itself. First, let me bring you out to the news release that we got from the county counsel's office. The first paragraph is key here. It says, LA County filed suit today against Southern California Edison and Edison International to recover costs and damages sustained by the county from the Eaton fire. The lawsuit alleges that SCE's equipment caused the deadly blaze, requiring the county to incur massive costs responding to the fire and its aftermath. Now, we have a copy of the complaint. It's really massive, 57 pages long. There is a lot of data in here. Now, the introduction goes through about 8 key points that the county wants to make about their argument that Southern California Edison is responsible for the Eaton fire and the damages that it caused. And I want to go down to points 7 and 8 because they really crystallize and solidify what the county is saying. Now, first, they talk a little bit about that windstorm on January 7th. But right here, I want to highlight, it said, despite repeated warnings, the county alleges that Edison failed to de-energize equipment in and around the Eaton Canyon area on January 7th, including multiple transmission lines and other equipment in Eaton Canyon. Now, they say that Edison says that there was a fault detected at approximately 6:11 and the Eagle Rock Gould transmission circuit, including towers M6T1 and M24T3, 2 transmission towers in the Eaton Canyon, in the area where the Eaton fire originated. And they go on to say that this video footage was captured right around that time that appears to show the Eaton fire being ignited under those towers. This goes on for 50 more pages discussing how there are causes of action to bring suit against Southern California Edison and Edison International, and the damages that the county are seeking to recover all of those costs in rebuilding. They don't put a number on that, but they do say they want a jury trial to get to the bottom of this. That is the very latest from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Mark. Let's get to story number 7 now. For properties that survived the SoCal wildfires, many are now surrounded by destruction and toxic substances. So now homeowners are faced with the question, is my house safe to return to? On your sides, Christine Lazar spent the day with a man whose job it is to provide these homeowners with that answer. Christine, really a lot of concern about what burned in these fires.
Right, and is it safe to move into today? And what does it look like 6 months from now, 6 years from now, especially if they have young children? You know, they're really grappling with, can I go back home? And we talk a lot about what kind of coverage there is and how people feel when their home has been destroyed. But for those who still have a home standing, they worry as well. So before the fires, I'd never heard the title industrial hygienist. Typically, they identify workplace hazards that could pose a risk to a worker's health. But in light of thousands of homes still standing in the fire areas, industrial hygienists are now in high demand by homeowners.
You can see that there's a lot of dirt and debris on the floor here.
Ash and soot still remain in Kirsten Davis's Altadena home nearly 2 months after the Eaton fire destroyed several properties on her street. Dave Gold is an industrial hygienist who came here to survey just how toxic Davis's home really is. So Dave, looking at Kirsten's house, how do you rate it?
Well, we're rating our jobs in terms of how bad they look on a scale of 0 to 5. And I'd say that this one's about a 3 or 4.
The work industrial hygienists do is fairly straightforward, but it's a crucial step in the path to peace of mind for those hoping to move back into their homes within the fire zone.
I'm trying to ride that line between I don't want to be paranoid, but I want to be cautious.
While in Davis's home, Gold took surface samples to be tested later at a lab.
And so this sample here with the alcohol pad would be getting analyzed for ash, dust, and soot. And this one here would be for metals or asbestos.
He calls it preserving evidence in case insurers refuse to pay for remediation. So what is he finding?
Definitely ash, soot, and char, and that in of itself contains a bunch of toxic materials, including polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. We're certainly finding a fairly frequent amount of lead showing up, also a little bit of arsenic in the samples.
The cost to clean up these toxins isn't cheap, considering these homes survived the fires and don't have structural damage.
I've gotten 4 estimates, and they've ranged from $65,000 to $85,000. And that does not include cleaning all the things that are going to be replaced. That includes merely replacing the insulation and cleaning everything in our 2,000 square feet total.
If there is lead, if there is asbestos, if there are these toxins and contaminants that you're talking about, you can't just come and vacuum it up.
No, we don't recommend unless it's a very small problem that people do it themselves.
Why?
Because they could be exposing themselves to toxic materials of one sort or another, or spreading them around the house more in the process of cleaning it up.
Gold's company charges about $1,500 for testing, but he says he's heard of other industrial hygienists inflating costs. How do you keep yourself from getting price gouged?
I think if you're finding that the sampling like this is costing well over $2,000, I would be suspicious. And again, you can get multiple quotes from people. We've heard people getting proposals of $25,000 for testing to do all kinds of extensive tests that at the end of the day right now aren't really necessary.
Davis's insurer has agreed to remediation to a level she feels comfortable with, but they will not pay to test again after the cleaning is complete.
It looks like it'll be about at least 3 months before we're able to come back, and I don't know how comfortable or not we'll feel.
Consumer advocates say that some homeowners are having their claims for smoke remediation denied or not fully covered. And this is not a new complaint. A class action lawsuit filed last year in Northern California by 365,000 Fair Plan policyholders accused the insurer of last resort of illegally writing policies with subpar coverage for damages related to smoke and fire. And it's a sentiment that I've heard. Those whose homes survived almost feel like now they're experiencing true loss because they feel like they don't know if their home is still safe to live in.
Exactly, and so many are still not back in their homes.
Oh yeah, it'll be months. Even for those who, are not fighting with their insurers, it's going to be several months till they can get back in.
All right, Christine, thank you. Well, KCAL News is committed to following the rebuilding efforts. If you have a news tip you want us to investigate, scan that QR code right there on your screen or send us a message on kcalnews.com/tips. Let's get to story number 8 now, and the inclusivity expands right here to the West Coast. Take a look at this. A Las Vegas elementary schooler named Phoenix noticed that some of her classmates had no one to play with during recess, so she went home to her mom with the idea for a buddy bench. It's a place where kids can sit if they need a friend. Her principal was excited about the idea, and now Phoenix is raising money to build the bench, saying it's all about kindness. I just love that idea, Phoenix. Maybe they could even put them in adult places sometimes. Still to come on the 10 at 10.
It's one of LA's most popular destinations, and it's been a staple on 3rd and Fairfax for the last 90 years. Coming up on Let's Go Places, we take you on a tour of the original farmers market.
Let's get to story number 9 this morning on Let's Go Places. We are going to the Fairfax district to explore the iconic original farmers market. Our Alex Biston learns the history of this LA staple and gets an inside look at a few of its celebrated vendors.
Let's Go Places, driven by your Southern California Toyota dealers.
It's one of LA's most popular destinations. It's also been a staple on 3rd and Fairfax for the last 90 years. Welcome to the original farmers market.
It's really a whole sensory experience.
Bringing together locals and tourists alike for just short of a century.
We're LA's living room, and it's like that comfy spot on the sofa that you don't want anyone else to have.
Spend hours wandering these stalls. Every turn offers a new perspective. Eat your way around the world, shop fresh produce, or soak in the hints of history sprawled across this local landmark. Its beginnings date back to the late 1800s.
So when Arthur Gilmore bought this land in 1880, it was a really, really sizable piece of land. It extended from past Pan Pacific Park to all the way on the west side past Crescent Heights and then down to Beverly. And so the land on which the farmers market sits and the grove sits still is owned by the Gilmore family.
The 256-acre property was initially a dairy farm. The cows moved out and the oil derricks moved in. The Gilmore family converted the land into oil fields during the Great Depression.
But in 1934, they needed to cease drilling for oil here. And so a few entrepreneurs came to the second generation of the Gilmore family and said, hey, we have this idea. Why don't you invite local farmers to come and sell their produce and their other goods directly to LA consumers? So they said, all right, we'll give it a try.
And to this day, one of its biggest draws is the alfresco dining amongst some of LA's best.
These were like the original food, creators, innovators, entrepreneurs. Many of them started right here at 3rd and Fairfax, so we're proud of that.
How about a classic stick-to-your-ribs breakfast? Dupar's has been an anchor at the farmers market since 1938. The secret ingredient to their success, owner Francis Tario says, is love.
We make everything every day like Mom would at home. We start with our potatoes, peel our potatoes, we boil them, then we grate them. Bacon is made to order, eggs are cracked, everything is fresh.
Fluffy, sweet, perfection. From an all-American breakfast to a trip back in time, get ready to unlock your artistic side at Sticker Planet.
These are the original Stinky Scratch and Sniff stickers.
Nice.
And they come in all the original scents that were popular in the 1980s.
The staple sticker shop is sure to spark creativity with a side of nostalgia. What do people say when they walk in and they see all of the stickers on rolls?
Oh my gosh, they either say, oh my God, this brings me back to my childhood, or their mouth just drops open because they've never seen anything like this.
More than 100 family-owned businesses call 3rd and Fairfax home. Some passed down through generations, making this mid-city marvel a beloved LA landmark. Alex Biston, KCAL News.
Well, this might not be the ideal day to go to the market, unless you don't mind the rain.
Exactly. And, you have to dodge the rain. Sometimes they have the little awning, or there's some stores inside. So, yeah, I would say kind of hold off. Maybe if you want to wait till the end of the week. But it's still a nice day to be outside if you don't mind it, because it's kind of that beneficial rain. It's very light. It's very showery in some spots. Some areas haven't quite got hit with the rain just yet, but we will start to see it as we head into the second half of the day. Live look at our next weather sky cam. This is Mount Wilson. You can start to see the raindrops on the lens here. So we're going to continue to see the really light rain as we head into the afternoon. We're probably going to be about a 1/4 inch or less of rain for this first system. So this is going to come in 2 pieces. We're looking at more rain, more wind, and more mountain snow over the course of the next couple of days. It's tapping into that weaker atmospheric river. So the first wave is today. The one tomorrow is going to be a little bit more cold and unstable, and that could trigger a little bit more of those isolated thunderstorms depending on where you live. Small hail possible, and then then if we do see a lot of that rain in a short amount of time with those thunderstorms, it could cause some shallow debris flow for those recent burn scars. The next system, we're expecting anywhere from an inch or less. But then if we do see these thunderstorms, we could actually see a lot more of that rain, maybe about an inch or two for those areas. And then for the mountains, maybe a little bit more as well. All right, so let's talk about this live radar. You can see we do have the rain really light right now coming down in Ventura County, and then a little bit more of that rain starting to pick up in intensity for parts of LA County. Not quite in Orange County just yet, but you can see it's slow moving, so it still needs to make its way into Downey, La Habra before it makes its way into Orange County. But Riverside, you're actually going to start to see that rain later on once we get past the lunch hour, so maybe about 1, 2 p.m., but it's going to stay with you until later tonight, and then we start to see the rain taper off and wait for the storm system, the second one, to move in. So Irvine, you're also going to start to see the rain after the lunch hour, so maybe around 1 p.m., and then it's going to stick around until about 10 p.m., and then we'll probably see some drier conditions overnight before that next system arrives. This system is a little warmer, but then the next one tomorrow will start to drop the snow levels down. So we do have winter storm advisories, everything in purple for LA and Ventura County, and then winter storm warning for San Bernardino and Riverside County. Anything above 7,500 feet, we can see about 12 to 16 inches of new snow, 4 to 8 between 5 and 6,000 feet. Big Bear, your snow chance starts to go up later on this afternoon, but really it's this early evening, and then we are looking at just, you know, a little bit more rain moving in. It's the evening commute that's going to be a little bit more of a doozy today. Here's a look at our highs. 60 degrees today for LA and Orange County, 57 for tomorrow, dry for the weekend, which is great news, and then more rain on the way as we head into next week. Amy, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. There's more to come on the 10 at 10. Tiny but mighty. Next, we're going to meet a genetically modified animal with a mammoth task on its hands.